Welcome back to DAP Build. Today I'm continuing work, obviously, of my 1999 Porsche Turbo Mess Replica. If you're new to the channel and would like to catch up, please do watch the full disassembly video. There is also individual videos of each day I've actually done work on this car. Within my channel there are other playlists including interests, other builds and other people's builds. If you'd like to consider subscribing, I do appreciate it. So today I'm starting work with the space frame. Only minor detail at first, more or less cleaning up this entire bottom section, which is the part that mates to the surface of the floor pans. We have an existing, oh gosh, there is just chunks of silica, rubber, I have no idea what it is. It's just all over the bottom section. Instead of using a proper gasket, which you can get for these cars, they decided to fill the cavity with this stuff, which has held in moisture and of course then started to make it rust. So moving all this away first, then tending to the rust, got some more pads to take all that down, and then giving it a bit of prep with some primer. Just going to leave it at that for now. I'm not going to start really tackling the paint job or anything like that on this, sealing it, all that sort of thing, until I know I'm 100%, just in case I need to add anything to it. I might, and I am very heavily considering, replacing this plate, which is a headache in itself because it is actually structural and crucial to the entire way this thing's been built. The lip that's on the inside here, well, this is the bottom section. So I can't simply just slice that off and then replace it because it's more or less replacing that entire part. So whether I simply go about mating another surface onto here and then extending it downwards, blending in where that line is, because these holes here, so this one's the worst one probably. Yeah, there is barely any meat here, and they got two drill holes here. I didn't even see that before. So I don't know which one they've used originally. Hopefully I can use the furthest one because that is so close to the edge, there's barely anything holding it on. So yeah, it just needs to be fixed. I mean, the alternative being I simply weld these holes up. It is substantially thick steel, and then of course I can drill my own, which honestly might be a better option. But I've then got to go about ensuring that I get the measurements right, the holes right, placements right, everything like that when I make it to the surface there, and ensure the alignment's correct. There is so much to consider. I can't simply just whack it on, drill some holes and job be done, because if I've got the arse end out, then the whole body's going to sit skew-if when I've actually got the tub lined on there. So this is not 100% square. Way back when I actually found out about this, so it's not a hidden shock or anything, but it's one of, in now rebuilding this thing, this is definitely one of the most crucial things I need to get correct, because if I don't, it's going to be a big problem. I can only assume the back section is reasonably square. I don't really know how to check that, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll start attacking this and then work from there. And now the fun task. So we're back to having the space frame on the bug body, but now I have the task of lining up all these lovely holes, which on this side anyway are just all over the shop. They kind of match with the existing holes, but I'm pretty certain they also, I don't think they did drill a stupid amount of extra ones, which I don't know. But the bigger problem is though, is that they were screwed down to the old pans. The old pans sat a little differently. By the same account as well, the holes are already there. So it more or less just plopped right on. Because these are fresh pans and because the spacing is slightly different, and this is a problem if you're actually replacing pans with bugs anyway. They state very specifically, if you don't have these pans lined up, when you drop the body back on, the bolts won't go through because they're not sitting exactly where they are. So there is a bit of a tack and art to it. With this, I think I'm just really going to have to weld up these holes and then make new ones, fresh ones off of it. What I have to do though is a ton of measuring. I have to ensure that the distances between the center section here to the outside on both and the rear here are the same, but they're not square. And this is the trouble I found when I removed the actual fiberglass shell, discovering that this space frame is not built to the same, it's not a mirror image. So one side in terms of its rake for this section here, the rocker side panel I suppose you call it, it is on a completely different lead. It's far more steeper on this side than it is on that side. I don't know exactly how much, but it is steeper. So that in itself means that the length of the metal here is different. But then these pieces which go on also are different. This section here from this rear section actually kicks inwards. That one over there is more round, like a curve as such. This front section here, I don't really know. Again, this is different here to that side, so there will be something that won't 100% line up. So it's more or less now a measuring game and then dotting out, or even just lining, because I've got the where it actually ends here, more or less just lining out an etch along there, finding a hole as a starting point and then working with that. These bars I had to remove because, yep, there we go. This space frame actually sat right at the very back. It sits all the way to the very end. So the very last piece here, look, I had the clamps holding in place, and of course the space frame was getting in the way. So they have to be removed, which it's going to make things even more complicated because I've got to mark the holes on this where to drill them out. So it's just getting more and more tricky. I can't think to myself now whether it would have been easier doing this on the floor, but I can actually work underneath, and then when the time comes, flip this around, weld these in a place, get these actually solidly in the chassis, and then that's done. And then I can seal the base up and all that sort of thing. So I am simply at a point now of measuring. Yeah, this is where it starts to get more and more fun. I say fun very loosely. So if anyone has any ideas in regards to trying to square this thing up 100%, When the tub goes back on, I mean, it will have a bit of wiggle room except for the front because it was pretty hard up. These have to go through into the door jamb recesses where it actually bolts together. So the front end needs to be 100% square. The rear, I've got a bit of wiggle room on because I found out very easily at the beginning that these holes here, when I put a bolt through, kind of shift the whole body 1/4 of an inch. So yeah, it's not square, and this is the problem. I need to make it square for the final product. It's going to look stupid otherwise. If you ever watched that episode where I actually found out the wheel was kind of sunken in, then I straightened it out, but then it was still recessed in slightly. So it wasn't, none of this car was done properly to begin with. Anyway, so that's pretty much going to be my Easter wrap up. So enjoy your holidays. If you are taking holidays or anything like that, do stay safe. If you're on the roads, just go as easy as you can. Don't rush anywhere. Don't plan your whole trip and everything like that. So do take care out there. The holidays are the worst time of the year. The tolls, you know what tolls I'm talking about, always go up during this period. So be safe. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy Easter if you celebrate it. All that sort of thing. And yeah, when I come back, I'll be starting this once more and then carrying on. So yeah. As always, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Like, subscribe, comment below, etc. This has been Dat Build. Now, get on with your build after Easter. Until next time, cheers.